One, two, yeah. Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, sir, you are tuned in. This is for the SB1200, ASR 10s and NPC heroes. This is for the crate digging, loop getting, sound manipulators, the Fruity Loop reasoning machine innovators that pump the bass and frequently freak the kick in a stand till it slaps in your speakers. The sound providers that make sure the song is tight. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live.
Welcome to the Beats Grinding Life podcast with your host, Siren, a weekly interview podcast with inspiring music producers, where every week you will learn from a different music producer how to potentially take your music career to the next level.
Today's episode of Beats Grinding Life is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audio download and 30-day free trial at beatsbooks.com. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Some recommended readings by past Beats Grinding Life guests like 48 Laws of Power, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Secret, Tools of Titans, and The Song Machine are all available with Audible. Once again, go to beatsbooks.com to get your free book. Yo, Beat Grinders, what's up? My name is Siren Beats. This is another episode of Beats Grinding Life. I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us because today we have in the studio with us no one. What? It's just me here by myself. Why? Because we're celebrating our 100th episode. Yes, we've had 100 episodes of Beats Grinding Life. And right now, I just want to thank you guys, the Beat Grinders, for tuning in to all 100 episodes. And I want to thank all the guests. All 100 of our guests that came on and blessed all of us with so much knowledge, so many gems, and so much motivation to just get us through it. So in this episode, what are we going to do? Why am I here by myself? Because I have compiled some of the best clips from the first 20 episodes, 1 through 20, and I've put them all in this episode for you guys. I want you guys to take all of these gems, from some of the guys that have been on here, from Focus, from Trox, from Jack Brown, to Kato, to it's just too many to name. But you guys get the gist. I just want you guys to sit back, enjoy these gems, and I'm gonna do this for the next 5 episodes. I'm gonna compile the best of the 20 episodes at a time. So for this one, we got 1 through 20. The next one we'll have 21 through 40. After that, 41 through 60, you guys get the gist. So this is volume number 1, and I just want you guys to enjoy. Grab your pens, your pads, because all these guys have dropped so many gems, and like I said, I've compiled the best. And yeah, you guys enjoy. How we're gonna start off is, we always ask the producers on here, how did you get your start? And we're gonna start off with Access. He's gonna tell us how he got his start. So here we go.
I mean, you gotta remember this a long ass time ago. So really, to be 100% honest with you, the first thing I ever started with in my life was like a CD, like a literal CD with sounds on it. It was called, I still remember to this day what it was called. It was called Hip Hop EJ or Hip Hop DJ or something like that. It was like a regular CD with just a couple, like I say maybe 500 samples on it, and it was just like maybe 1 to 2 second little sound shots or samples, and I would bring that into like Acid or something like that and try to do what I could do with it. And that's what I first started with, and eventually that changed to using like Fruity Loops, and that's what I'm still using today. I'm comfortable using other programs, and I'm comfortable using hardware as far as like I had a Triton, I've had Motifs, I've kind of went through all that. It's just like the ease of use, and for what I do, it's like you can't really beat Fruity Loops for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it works for you, why even? I mean, it sounds like you venture off and you experiment, but why try other?
Yeah, exactly.
It was funny. I just always wanted to do it, and then I couldn't find, back in the days, like I couldn't find the full version of Fruity Loops, which is what I use today. And it was funny because when I first got into high school, like I was like grade 9 or 10, one of my homies, he got the CD. He called me one day and he's like, I know a guy that has the full CD, but he lives kind of far. Do you want to go get it? And back then, like, you know, main transportation was bicycle, was like riding the bikes, but it was a little bit too far to ride. So me and him, I stole my mom's car to go get it, and on the way back, my mom called me and she was like, "Where the fuck is my car?" And we had to gun it back, ran some red lights, got in trouble, got grounded, but I got the CDs and installed it, and the rest is history.
It was well worth it, huh?
Oh yeah, well worth it.
Oh man, what a story! Damn, that's what's up, man.
My first personal, not something that I was using from somebody else, but my first personal keyboard was a Yamaha PSR 226, if I recall correctly. That joint right there was crazy. You could only save like 3 beats on there, and each beat you could only record like 6 tracks, so you had to be real creative, man.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy. Having that, I did that for a long time, and it was crazy because you could only record 3 beats, and I would hang on to those beats, and then when I was finally to try something new, I'd have to delete them or try to record them on something so that at least I had it. And yeah, it was a struggle, bro. It was a struggle.
but man, what it just having 6 sounds do for you? I'm sure, like you said, you had to be creative as hell. I'm sure that gave you an opportunity to grow.
No, it totally did, bro, because I was thinking about it, and I remember like I used to have to play my whole drum sequence on one track just to be able to utilize as many sounds as I could. Right. So like, we're used to doing tracks on different, drum tracks are all a percussion on separate tracks. Right. And this one I was paused, but I was fingering the heck out of my keyboard, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah. I was really trying to make the most of it. And so it was definitely pushing my creativity and definitely pushing, allowing me to maximize what I could do with just a limited amount of tracks.
That's dope, man. That's dope. That's what's up. All right, so we just heard from Access, Bird and Keys, Sick With It, and all those guys demonstrated, what it takes to get started in this game. Bird and Keys said he had to steal his mom's car just to get a copy of Fruity Loops, which is kind of crazy. Sick With It said that he had a keyboard with only 6 sounds or 6 tracks. All 3 of these guys just showed that it's never going to be an easy road to get started. It's very rare that you have everything laid out for you. You have all the equipment that you want, that you need. But all these guys, they wanted this beat life. They wanted to be producers. And so they started off with what they had and made the best out of it. I think that's dope right there. So produce. Now this next part, we're going to talk about inspirations. And we got Focus, we got Street Runner, we got Digital Crates on here. With Street Runner going first, his answer really resonated with me because I'm kind of an old head, and so some of the people that inspired him inspired me coming up as well. And then we got Focus and Digital Crates on here because they were inspired by people that you wouldn't expect for hip-hop producers, and I think that that's what makes their sounds unique. So yeah, you guys check it out.
The main guys that inspired me, like, I always put it like this: RZA's number 1. There's nobody who tops RZA to me. Like, just the whole Wu-Tang brand that he managed to orchestrate from first of all, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to get 9 rappers involved in something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Forget about 9. Try to get 2. Rap. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So he managed to get 9 and put together the most epic project, and then fucked around and got all those guys solos, and then every single production he did during that era was like fire, and then he's doing fire on Big's album, fire on all these other joints, AZ remix or this or that. He was like all over. So Riz was number 1. Can I
interrupt you, Street Runner? Bro, RZA on all those solo albums though, like the styles were different too. That's the thing that got me. Yeah, he adjusted, man. That's crazy to me. But go ahead.
He formed a whole story for each artist. Like, it's retarded. So okay, RZA's number one clearly, and then tied for number two, I'm gonna put DJ Premier and Pete Rock. Like both those guys were like neck and neck to me. Just because any remix, like the Biggie remix or you know, both of them being on Illmatic and listening to Nas Illmatic like all the time and all like just constantly, both of them came from dope rap duos, you know, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Gangstar with DJ Premier. So like those two are neck and neck, tied for number two. There is no fucking doubt about it. Of course, I gotta throw Q-Tip in the mix, but before Q-Tip, Havoc is definitely would be number three for me. All the shit he did with Mobb Deep, all the shit he did with Nas, all the shit he did with with even Biggie's Life After Death album. He dropped a classic on there. I mean, this man supplied people with classics on the low. And not to mention an entire album that sounded like Shook Ones over and over again with the infamous Mobb Deep album. You know what I'm saying?
Classic.
Like Shook Ones Part 2 is like one of the most legendary beats to me. Like you hear that shit and it's like the essence of where we come from. Right. So that's like my shit. So and then, you know, I gotta give it, you know, Q-Tip, Dr. Dre, Swizz Beatz was probably like the wave that I can super relate to because, you know, he was young coming up, like, you know, getting on that Jadakiss album, the DMX album, you know, the Locks, all that shit, like the Nori album, the Nore album. That's when I was like really like figuring it out. Like I was probably like 16, 17 at this point, and I'm like, oh shit, this dude's on every dope album that comes out.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
And he had like one beat and you knew it was him every single fucking time. So that was a huge influence. So, you know, those are the main ones, and nobody could tell me I'm fucking around with those guys. You know, those legends for real.
My biggest inspirations, next to my father, were Stevie Wonder, Prince, Teddy Riley. These were people that I used to listen to and emulate. Even Brian Morgan, who did most of the hits for, or did all of the hits for SWV.
Wow.
You know, stuff like that. Like I used to listen to these people and emulate them and try to be like them when I was younger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely paid off, man. Man, some of the producers that I spoke to earlier, they talked about just reaching out or just listening to other music besides hip hop and how important that is. And the producers that inspired you aren't just hip hop producers. Can you speak a little bit on that, if possible?
I think that if anybody listens to one thing, it's like if you're a cook and you only eat one kind of food, you're always going to have a one-dimensional meal. And I think that it's very important to expand one's palate, expand one's boundaries, and to understand that there's a world full of music out there that can give you different inspirations. I don't like to put myself in one genre because it's all music. Right, and if somebody hears a song to it, why am I going to tell them, no, I made that for a hip hop artist? It's music, and you should turn around and always leave your door open to whatever opportunity could be there.
Oh man, really? I kind of was old school. My parents had a nice record collection. So I was kind of inspired by a lot of producers from the 70s and 80s, people that probably no one has ever really heard of anymore. One of them this past year passed away, Sir George Martin, who produced all the Beatles albums. It was really my first favorite producer, listening to Beatles records. And then after that was Quincy Jones, obviously listening to Michael Jackson records growing up. And getting into hip hop, you know, it was like an explosion in the 90s when I grew up. So we had people like DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, Timbaland, Pharrell, you know, and it's just like, go on, Just Blaze, you know, I could go on forever and name 100 producers because I love them all. and I'm really inspired by production in all genres: rock, reggae, pop, EDM, and hip hop. I really listen to all music, and I pay attention to producers across the board, even unknowns or on the come ups. I really pay attention to beat makers and producers. So salute to y'all.
Dope, man. Dope. That seems to be a major theme here on Beats Grinding Life, is not just settling into one genre of music, but just expanding your ear and listening to all types of music from all types of eras.
Music is music, and the only way you're going to learn and grow is to experiment with all types of music and rhythms and sounds. And I think that the worst thing you can do for yourself is get pigeonholed into just doing one thing.
Right.
So those producers I mentioned and producers I love are people that, like you said, can do it all. So that's really the key.
Nice, man. All right, so that was Inspirations, and what I love about the last two, Focus and Digital Crates, is they were inspired by more than just hip hop producers. They're inspired by R&B, by rock, and like Focus said, it just expands your palette. So I've incorporated that into my music by listening to all kinds of music. Do the same thing, you guys. Listen to all different kinds of music, because it just expands your palette. So, all right. This right here is one of my favorite parts of Beats Grinding Life. Part of the interview is the setbacks, because we can all relate to having setbacks. Just not within music, but within life. But as producers, we all know that a setback is due to come at any moment. You never know when it's going to come, but it's going to come. And so here we get to listen to setbacks from Bird and Keys, Jack Brown, Shay Keys, and Sick With It. And all these guys have different kind of setbacks. But you guys just take a listen to him. Bird and Keys will start us off, and he'll talk about the death of his partner and how he had to bounce back from that. But yeah, take a listen.
This has been like, I don't know, major setbacks, I guess, would be when, I guess, Keys passed away and just having to regroup. And at that point, I just quit my job. And it wasn't even a couple months after that Keys passed away. So it's just I had, it's I just kind of got my parents on board, I'm gonna do this, just give me some time, be patient. And then after that happened, it's they kind of were looking at me so you're gonna go get a job now?
Right, now what are you gonna do?
You're gonna give this shit up now?
Right.
and it kind of pissed me off, and it kind of just made me start going harder.
Nice.
And it led to some dark days, because after the money started drying up, that I saved up from working, my folks were getting pissed off seeing me at home. They think I'm just playing video games or something, but
but you're working.
I'm trying to make beats. I'm making beats 16 hours a day, and they're just looking at me like I'm an idiot. And it wasn't until and then I got kicked out the house. I got into a fight with my dad. I was living at my cousin's for 8 months. I was sleeping on the couch over there.
Wow.
And it was just dark, man. I was making beats on in the kitchen table, balancing a keyboard on a chair. It just wasn't ideal,
Right.
I went from a comfy room to this unideal situation. And when I got back home, it was crazy, because it's I got I had all this mail and stuff that I hadn't received. And there was this check, for a nice check that I got for some stuff I did on TV that I didn't even think I was gonna get paid for.
Wow.
And that it was a 5-figure check that allowed me to get back on the road again and clear up some debts and just show my parents I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that's dope right there, bro.
I had a major setback at I would probably say spring of last year. I had been uploading things to Instagram.
Okay.
And clips and things. and one of my beats got stolen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was stolen by a very famous music producer.
Wow.
And I was devastated when I heard it on the radio, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's my song." And I was like, "Yo, this music producer has been my idol since I was for a long time.
Are you kidding?
A very long time."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, it took me a minute to actually like accept it, realize it, and then flip it into a compliment. And so it's like, well, you know, I could take this can break me, and I can feel like a failure because I'm never going to get to that level because they're already like taking from me.
Right.
But I flipped it and said, you know what, if this person saw it and heard it and they took it for themselves, that means that I'm on that level sonically. Sonically. So that really, really pushed me to come even more out of my shell and solidify my decision, excuse me, going into music production and putting out an album, and you know, just saying, you know, screw it, let's go. If they're watching, then they're taking note, and then they need to know that I'm even better than what they stole.
Right.
So it really was a boost of confidence. It took a minute, maybe about a week, for me to digest it, but afterwards I just turned into a bloody monster.
That's dope.
I don't want to curse, I don't know, but yeah.
That's dope, man, because I mean, you can go either way with that. You could beat yourself up for that and be down, but you didn't. You pulled yourself up and you went hard at it, and you knew that hey, if I obviously have something that people want, it's on the radio, so this is my shit. So that's dope, man. That's dope.
Major setback, I could just say, you know, some of the bigger major setbacks I had in my career was just, you know, financial. Just, you know, trying to do your music career and not really, and you know, also having bills and I had kids at an early age.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So having to take care of my daughter and, you know, having to pay bills. So there was a lot of times where I would come home and the gas would be off, or the water would be off, or the internet off, and the cable, and you know what I'm saying, to the
right.
And you know, it was just a struggle. Or you know, I had to take a bath in the, you know, with the go get the gallon jug from Walmart and take a bath like that, or you know, it wasn't always cool, but you know, just being able to get past that part of it. You know, I used to say back in the day that when, you know, if push came to shove, as long as I had my equipment, I could just plug it up outside somewhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And still find a way to make something happen, because I just always believed in myself and believed in my dream.
Man.
So that was definitely a major setback, though, just going through that and just having to overcome that whole thing and figuring out how to go work a job, you know, during the day, and immediately get off that job and sit in traffic and then go straight home to the studio. You know what I'm saying? And work all night. And then I would damn near be late to work every day.
Right.
All night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah, man, there was a moment I remember after winning Beast of the Beats. This was in 2014. It was at the end of the year. And I remember after winning, like the very next week, iStandard had went back on their journey, starting the new year over, and I think one of the first places they had stopped was in Dallas. So we kind of coupled that with a celebration for me winning Beast of the Beat. So man, we had a packed house at the event. It was crazy. Everybody was there, and I remember feeling like a superstar. You know what I mean? I remember everybody, you know, just coming up to me and congratulating me. It just felt really great. Nice. And at the end of the night, I stuck around to the very end, shook everybody's hand, thanked them for coming. And I remember going to my car, and it was freezing cold. And I get in my car, and I go to start my car, and it just starts squealing really, really loud. My driver's side window didn't roll down, so during the summers I was really hot, and during the winters, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy.
Right.
My AC, my heater, or my defrost did not work.
Oh shit.
My driver's side headlight constantly went out. It was always shorting it out. And it was crazy. I had dents in my car, and I remember thinking like, dang, I'm inside here at this event acting like I'm the man, but then I come out here and it's so humbling. And then my drive was I had to drive 35 minutes to get home, and I had to stop 4 different times to scrape the ice that had glazed over my windshield. It was crazy, bro. And I just started thinking, I was like, one day this is all gonna pay off. Like, dope. So that's a hard moment that I really, 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 really recall on a daily basis. But I think one of my most recent setbacks that I had that I was able to bounce back from was at the end of this past December. There's a town real close to Dallas by the city called Rowlett, Texas.
Okay.
And they got hit by a major tornado, and my sister lives there. I had gone to East Texas for the holidays with my sister and brother-in-law to visit my mom. And while we were visiting my mom, the tornado swept through the town, totally demolished my sister's house, ruined my vehicle because I had left it parked there. And I just remember coming back, and it was just so hard for my family because with nothing like that devastating like that had ever happened to us. And it left, my sister without a home. So I was trying to help her recoup everything she was going through, on top of not having a vehicle anymore. And like I said, I live 30 minutes outside of Dallas. So for me to move around was really difficult. And at the end of every year, I normally sit down, go through my goals, figure out how I'm going to attack the next year. And I didn't get to do that. And I felt like for the first 2 months of the year was a total bust. I didn't do any music. And I thought, man, this year's going to go down the drain. And, what was crazy is that in March, I had got invited to do a celebrity beat battle out in LA for a charity event, which was a big look for me. That was like the first big thing I was able to do after the tornado. But it just seemed like things just started coming. I started getting placements. I started getting, more placements. I had the Double XL opportunity.
Nice.
I recently got nominated for a Double Award. It's just like, it's so crazy to see like all the previous work I had done last year was already starting to pay off this year, even though I was in a rut. And it just let me know that all that hard work and consistency that I had put forth before was starting to pay off, so not to give up. And it really kept me motivated, and it kept me moving forward, even when I thought I was at my wit's end and I was going to have to go get a job and do other stuff. I was, during that time, I got my first royalty check. I was able to get a car, and man, it's just like God just kind of came through and was like, "You're not done yet, buddy."
Nice. Oh man, that's so inspiring right there. That's on Beats Grinding Life, man. We love hearing stories, and we love hearing inspirational stories, and that definitely takes the cake right there, man.
Oh man.
Damn, that's a great story. It just kind of reminds me of you reap what you sow. You said
Definitely.
that, you put it all out, the previous year, and it came right at the right time, man. I love hearing that.
The big homie S1 always says, just keep planting seeds, keep planting seeds.
Nice.
And that's what I did all of 2014 and 2015. And a lot of that started flourishing for me this year. So it was good.
Dope. Like I said, that is definitely one of my favorite portions of Beats Grinding Life. And why? Because all of those ended with a great story at the end. It started off bad, and then it ended with the happy ending. And usually that's how it goes, beat grinders. If you're in a depressed state right now, or if you are going through a setback, just know that it's not going to last. We go through peaks and valleys. So if you are in that valley, just keep looking up and keep working, and know that peak is going to come. And if you are in a peak, just know that a valley may come as well. So, brace yourself for whatever could happen. Yeah, that's why I love it. And another portion that I love, which is one of my favorites, again, is the daily ritual. you know, a lot of successful people, or if not all successful people, have a daily ritual set in place, and we're gonna hear that with some of the guests here. You know, we have Cobain Ivory, who definitely has a minute by minute set ritual. We have Miss Madley, who writes everything down on paper. You know, we got Street Runner, we got Sick With It, we got Rhythm J. So yeah, check it out.
I can tell you my schedule offhand. I wake up about 6:45. I meditate, and not really meditate. I kind of visualize the day. I see what type of tracks I want to make. I see everything I want to do. About 7, I do this thing where I just look up quotes of I call it quotes from greatness. Is I look up quotes from really influential people, really educated, intellectual people. Nice. Because if you want to be great, you have to align yourself with the greats. Yep. That's 7:15. 7:15 to 8 o'clock, I listen to new music. I go to the blogs. 8 to 8:15, I do push-ups and sit-ups. 8:15 to 9, I just do my breakfast, which is, I don't do anything. I play video games. I eat. I just kind of relax. 9 to 12, I make music. Whatever music I want to make. 12 to 1, I do lunch. 1 to 2 is a power hour, which is I do 5 things that progresses my career, and they usually change. But yeah, power hour. So awesome. 2 to 3. I forgot what 2 to 3 is off the top of my head, but I can look it up. Oh no. Actually, at 2 to 5. That's another 3-hour block of music. 5:30, another lunch. 5:36, instrument lesson, which right now I'm actually learning piano as well, better. I play it, but I just want to play better. And then 6 to 8, it's really, I can make music, but normally I'm sequencing and finishing tracks at that time. Okay. And then 8 p.m. I'm done. So it's pretty much, I would say, really 9 to 8 as far as creating. Okay. But yeah, that's my daily schedule. Wednesdays, why I'm so free is because eventually, if you do that every day, you lose your mind, and you need to take a little bit of a break. So Wednesdays, I do a third of a day, so I only do my 9 to 12, and then the rest of the day I call Find Greatness. So I just go out, explore, I take pictures, I go see an orchestra, I do whatever I want to do, but it really has to be cultivating of the mind and the soul, and because you need something to pull from when you're creating. Right. Not that I'm actively looking for it, but it's just a good break.
You know what? So I used to, after I graduated from IIR, I got my first and only job. That was with Alta Music. I worked at a pro audio showroom, which essentially was like a studio. So I worked there for 7 years. Okay. And eventually I started running it just about a year ago. So basically I worked in a studio in Times Square, and you know I got a lot of my days consisted of me working on music, on emails and stuff like that first. I would stay at work after like 5-6 o'clock, and then I work another 5-6 hours on music. Nice. So not every day, but pretty much like 4 or 5 times a day, 4 times a week or so. Sometimes I'd go in for weekends. Sometimes I stayed at night, you know, whatever. So, and but about like 4 or 5 months ago, I basically quit my day job. So I'm still working for the company, but I'm doing it remotely. But and it's just whatever I want to do, I do, you know, basically.
Nice, congratulations.
Don't congratulate me. I'm broken. But you know, I get stuff done. But it's just, you know, I definitely took a leap of faith with that, you know. And yeah, I got my bills paid, but you know, that's it. You know, like pretty much just on super grind right now. I wake up and what I realized is if you work for yourself. You have to be way more disciplined than ever before, you know? Right. So I have a task list. I have this little, I don't even like computer calendars. I have a regular pad and paper. Nice. Every day I write down like the tracks that I need to finish, the stuff that's in the works. And I kind of prioritize everything. Let's say if there's a project that I get paid for, that comes first. You think that's like, you know, passion or whatever, that comes next, and then come the collaborations and stuff that I, you know, that's just for, not for fun, but, you know, something that's just like, you know,
right, just less of a priority than the other two, but it's still something that needs to be done. Yeah,
because right now I don't have any income, so I don't pay, you know? Right. Like I mean, I do have an income, but like I don't have any extra coming in, so I don't play. Like I don't take any projects on just for shits and giggles, you know? Like, oh, let's just see, you know, no. Like if you're not serious about stuff or if it's just whatever, then I unfortunately I would have to turn it down or then at least postpone it to the point where you know, I might have more time. Right. But and
you've paid your dues. I'm sure that you've done lots of stuff for shits and giggles, you know, and now it's time to progress and move on, sure. You know.
And I'm not saying that working with anybody is shits and giggles. It's just that you know, as you progress, and then if you have so much on the line, like you have put so much of yourself on it. Like I said, just like with the school, like if I put all and everything into this, I can't entertain anybody that's just like, oh, I couldn't send it to you, or oh, it's just gonna take me another week, or oh, my bad. Like I just can't do that respectfully. Right. So, you know, like if this is the place where you are in your career, that's fine. And if this is a hobby for you or whatever, that's totally cool. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is I can't afford to take this anymore. You know what I mean? Like I just have to. This is my business now. This is my life. Like, you know.
Dope. I love the mindset, and I love hearing that.
Just wake up in the morning. You know, I head down to Jingle Punks, where I currently work at. If you guys don't know Jingle Punks, you can look them up. They're a music library. Okay. You know, I'll put in a full day with them. Come home. You know, have a little something to eat. You know, put the baby to sleep. And come down to the studio and work till the wee hours in the morning. Try to get some sleep. Wake up, do it again.
Nice. How long are you at Jingle Punks?
Sure, you know, like 8-9 hours I'm out there, and then, you know, I'm probably getting back to the crib around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And then after that, getting in the studio.
I'm probably getting in the studio around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Working until 2.
Nice.
You know, sometimes 3, and waking up doing it again.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
I'm not. You know, I'll tell you what. I'm not one of these. I gotta put some people on blast real quick, man. I hate when people say, "Yo, I don't sleep. I'm up all night," and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you have to sleep. Right. Physical human body needs sleep to function. Otherwise, you die. Right. So if anyone tells you I don't sleep on these fucking interviews, they're lying to you.
Right. Dope.
Just want to put that out there.
Well, you know, I still DJ a little bit. You know, I try to stay on that craft. I really DJ with turntables though. Mm-hmm. I'm not a laptop DJ.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I stay up on that. I'm constantly spinning. You know, like a beat will take me like 2 days to make. Mm-hmm. You know, from start to finish, I'll work on it 2 days. I do writer sessions, so some nights I'll just be working on hooks. Dope. So I have dope fire hooks on my tracks.
Like you have writers, or you write yourself?
No. I got dope. One of my artists that I fuck with is super retarded with the pen. Like so his pen game is so good, and like he just knocks out the hooks for me, and you know, we shop them. So I when he knocks out the hooks, he sends me the vocals. So I spend sessions on mixing those vocals so that I have the hooks sounding good on the beats. So I do that. Those take times out of my schedule, and then a lot of music research. You know what I'm saying? Like just a lot of listening to music, a lot of just vibing. I have a very cool record collection, so occasionally I'll just get in the studio and just go through, like, pull a bunch of records and just start looking for samples and burn them down to Pro Tools, transfer them over to Pro Tools, vinyl. Nice. Just constantly looking for new ideas, new shit.
Okay, so I will be 100% honest in this moment, and I wrestle sometimes answering this question, but because I want to sit here and tell you I have a very structured, day-to-day agenda every day, and the reality of it is that I don't. I'm a creative. When I feel inspired is usually when I work the best, But don't get me wrong. Like, I've got my whiteboard in here. I've got my to-do lists. I'm organized to an extent. My days are more of weeks. I don't really look at it day to day. I look at it throughout the week. Like, I got to get this stuff done this week. So yeah, I mean, my day to day will consist of anything from doing PR and marketing stuff for my brand, working on beats, submitting beats, tons of meetings and tons of emails. Like, that's probably the biggest part of what I do, is responding to emails, setting up meetings, setting up, interviews, all this kind of stuff, planning for events. I do more than just make beats. Sick With It is a brand, and I want to be able to expand in every aspect that I can musically. So I try to maneuver out of different ways to do that. So I take all those elements and they spread out amongst my week, and I try to get all that stuff done. I get probably the biggest compliment on, like, my art, who does my artwork and my logos and my photos and all that stuff. Right. And that's all in-house, man. I'm a graphics designer by trade. I do a lot of my own PR stuff, but I have a photographer, I have a publicist, and between all of that, we make the week make sense. So
dope. Yeah, man. I noticed you said that it's not just about the music, it is about the brand, and that's one thing that I definitely noticed about you. I've actually seen you a couple times in Atlanta, and I've seen that you have photographers, and everything that you do is put together very well as far as your social media and everything, and I definitely appreciate that, man. Just the way that everything is put together, and man, I gotta salute you on that for sure, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So, earlier you spoke about just being organized, and then before that you also spoke about setting goals. Can you talk about the importance of that? Maybe just having a whiteboard in the studio, or setting goals for the month or for the year or for the week?
Yeah, man, that is so important. I used to cringe at people when they tell me, like, write your goals down. It's important that you write your goals down so you can see what it is that you're trying to do. And I was always like, man, I know what I'm trying to do. I'll get it done when I get it done. But the reality is like, the more busier you get, the bigger your dreams and your goals become. It's hard to keep up, man. It's hard to manage. It's hard to do all that stuff. So it's super important. That whiteboard is accompanied by my calendar. It's accompanied by another app that I have that I keep all my to-do lists on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's extremely important. I think any person that's really trying to be successful has those things constantly in their face, constantly on their mind, to remind them, like, yo, get this done, because you got to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, the opportunities and the jobs that you have available to you right here, right now, won't be the same next week or next month. And you got to keep it moving. You got to keep that thing. It's like building a machine. I'm still in the process of building it. I think I'm getting pretty good at it. But man, I don't think we take that part serious enough. I think we're so moved and we're so focused on the music, but we don't realize, like, well, how are we gonna get that music out? How are we gonna let people hear it? Like, how, you know what I mean? There's a strategic play for all that stuff, and I try to keep that at the forefront of everything that I'm doing.
Dope, man. Dope. Okay. If you don't mind me asking, what's the app that you use?
I use Evernote, actually. I like Evernote. Dope. It's really easy to use. It's kind of easy to maneuver, kind of like Word, and but it keeps everything organized for me.
Dope. Yeah, I'm a user of Evernote as well, man.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, guys. You heard from some top producers on how they organize their day. Success leaves clues. So I hope that you guys took note on that and start setting your day up like some of these other guys do. Be well organized, write everything down. It's just gonna take you to that next level. So coming up next, we have secrets, not so secret weapons in the studio. I think that you guys will be shocked to hear some of the secrets that some of these producers say.
The not so secret weapon is me. Ooh. There's nothing in here that's nothing in here that nobody else doesn't have. I really use a lot of the stuff that's in Logic, and I'm not being haughty, and I don't want anybody to take that as being conceited. It's just what you do with what you have. You know, like we all can have the same drum kits, the same samples, but we're all gonna see it different. So in everybody's studio, they're the secret weapon. I don't care how many plugins you have more than me, I can use those same plugins and do something totally different and be the secret weapon of that moment.
Wow.
So in everybody's studio, the secret weapon should be the producer, not the actual equipment.
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. Probably my soul, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that answer. My soul, bro.
Damn.
Like, and the reason I say that is because I think it's a weapon everybody has. You know what I mean? It's not a secret. We all have soul, but it's how we utilize it. And I think when I make my beats, if it's almost like the sugar to tea or Kool-Aid.
Right.
What's the point in having tea or Kool-Aid if there's no sugar in it? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
like, it's the same thing with my music. Like, what's the point in having a song or a beat if people ain't feeling it? You know what I mean? So like,
right.
I put my soul in. That's my secret sauce right there, man. Put some soul so that way people can. And it doesn't. And when I say soul, it doesn't have to be like a sample.
Right.
It's just something that makes you move. It makes you think. It makes you feel. And you know what I mean? That's important for people that listen to your music.
Your ears.
Oh, perfect.
Every producer's got them, and I think those are the two biggest tools that you can use in the studio is just your ears. I mean, listening, you know, whether you're mixing or trying to figure out what you need to add to a beat, or, you know, I think it all just comes from using your ears. And after years of, you know, training them, it gets a little bit easier and you know what to look for. So,
right.
You know, that's the biggest tool for me.
Yeah, man, these are priceless. The secret weapon. It's my ears. It's my eardrums.
Dope. Nice.
That's the secret weapon. It's the judgment. It's knowing what sounds dope, what doesn't sound dope, what has that sonic quality, what doesn't, what's cliche. There's oh my God. Every time I've heard producers play any beats, man, I'm always listening for cliches.
Right.
Always listening to, there goes that, hey, or whatever shit. I'm like, oh, come on, man, you really gonna do that?
Right.
I've scrapped full beats because I'm like, no, this sounds too much like that.
Right.
And actually, there's a couple of beats that I've done where I've said, okay, that sounds too much like that record. Let me switch it up just a little bit, so I'm still maintaining that vibe, but I'm not straight biting, or I'm changing the entire sound so it sounds nothing like it. And I've made really dope shit.
Not so secret weapon in my studio. I would have to say it would be that guy right there that I have sitting up, or that guy right there.
The monitors,
over there in the corner.
Monitors, huh?
Yeah.
The monitors?
Not the monitors, but the acoustic treatment.
Okay. And why do you say that?
I would say the acoustic treatment because that's what really allows me to hear everything accurate. And before I got this spot, I came from doing everything out my living room, and my mixes sounded good then, and my beats sounded good then, but they weren't accurate. Right. And once I got the acoustic treatment in my mic booth, and once I got it in my mixing room, then it really drastically improved everything I was doing. So I would say that's my secret weapon.
Right, so were you guys just as shocked as me to hear those secret weapons that some of our favorite producers use, like Focus, Jack Brown, Kato, Rhythm J, Sick With It? I mean, none of them involved equipment, with the exception of Jack Brown. I mean, he said acoustic treatment, but it falls in the same line as what everybody else was saying, is that their secret weapon is them, their ears, their soul, what they feel, what they hear, you know. And so everyone wants to buy the fancy equipment, everyone wants to buy the fancy plugins, but we just have to remember it all starts with us. Yeah, that's what's driving the music, is us. Just remember that. Okay, so on to the next. You guys sell beats? You guys lease beats? Well, this next portion might have you reconsider what you're doing now. So we're gonna hear about selling and leasing beats from Focus 3 Dots, from Jack Brown, Shay Keys, Kato, Rhythm J. You guys might be interested in what they say.
Man, it kept food on my table. My opinion is definitely I'm for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually just at the end of the year last year, I looked at how much I made in leasing beats over the year, and it really made me like, I need to make more beats. You know what I'm saying? I need to increase my output.
Wow. Okay. That's what's
up. Yeah, I love it. I definitely and I learned just watching guys like Vibes and just with them when they used to put up how much they were making in PayPal, and that's what really showed me like this is really some money out here. And the fact that I look at them like houses. Every time I make a beat, it's like I just built a new house. Wow. I can either rent it out, you know what I'm saying, and keep getting them mortgage payments, or I can sell it. And if I sell it, I need a big fee for it. So I love beats and beats. I'm with that.
I think it's a great avenue for new producers. I think it's a great avenue for more older, more experienced producers, because we do have a lot of beats that are just laying around. Like I have a bunch of old stuff, old stuff sitting on hard drives that's not doing anything.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it helps an artist with a mixtape that might want a production from an EA Ski, or from me, or from Battle Cat, or from DJ Khalil, or from High Tech. You can get these things for lease. You can get these things for the low on some of these sites like BeatStars and iStandard. So I think that it's important, because now it helps. It's helping to create community again, urban music. So I like that.
I don't sell or lease beats online.
Okay.
I just don't do it. I'll tell you what I do. I post to SoundCloud. I'll post beats out there, like streaming. And if you want to buy a beat from me, I'm not hard to find. They have Google, and that's my leasing tool, if you want to call it that. Like, that's basically it, man. I don't really sell beats for $10 or $5 or whatever the fuck these people are doing to bring down the value of beats. I'm not trying to give out beats for free. But then again, that would be a lie if I told you I would never give out a beat for free, because there's guys that I've built with for years whose sound I respect, that I'm going to hook up, because I know there's a benefit down the road to doing that. Like, for example, like the whole Snoop Dogg CBJ thing. Like, we didn't charge for that.
Right.
No way. Fuck Snoop Dogg. What are you going to do? Oh, yeah, Snoop. Yeah, we would like for you guys to use this, but we're going to need $2,000. No. We ain't going to do that.
But you know what? It wasn't free, though. You benefit from it. So
exactly. So there's got to be a barter. There has to be something you're receiving.
Selling and leasing beats. Oh, man. I think it just depends on what kind of producer or beat maker you are. Me, myself, like, I've done it before, and I still do it to this day. I have a website called Nasty Tracks where I curate beats from myself and, my producer friends, and I put them up in a beat store and sell them online and lease them.
Nice. Okay.
But that's not my primary source of income. I just kind of do that to help out my producer friends and to, make beats more affordable for upcoming artists, because not everyone has a budget for exclusives.
Right.
But I think if your main thing is creating music and getting in the studio with artists and building that synergy, I think you should kind of try to stay away from selling beats online. That's just my opinion, because I think it waters your brand down a little bit by doing that.
Okay.
I take pride in making music and creating records. So I try not to just like give my beats away like that.
Well, leasing selling is completely different than leasing. I wouldn't lease.
Okay.
I see all the time leasing beats for $19.99, leasing beats for $7, leasing like it's really
it's ridiculous,
bastardizing.
Right?
Yeah, it's really bastardizing the art form.
Right.
And nothing against anyone doing that, but I want everyone to take pride in their work and what they create and have confidence in your work. It's not about how many placements you get. It's not about how many beats you sell. It's about you being happy with what you're doing. Right. And if you're doing that, unfortunately, you're pretty much prostituting yourself out. Like you're a cheap whore.
Wow. Like
that's how I feel. And that may be strong. I may offend some people with that, but I want everyone to take pride in their creation. If I've been playing piano for X amount of years, since I was 11, I'm not going to give you a free beat or give you a beat for $7 and try to resell the same beat over and over and over again for $7. That's out of control. It's ridiculous. It's disrespectful to me and my parents who put me through that. You know, you have to have more a higher sense of pride.
Yeah, some kind of
in
integrity.
Your work.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if you were ever on the fence about whether you should sell or lease beats, I hope that this helped out a lot. All of those guys had convincing arguments for whether you should or should not. And I'm just glad that we got representation of both sides. All right, this next portion is album recommendations, which I really, really enjoy because I don't always have my ear to the streets. I don't always know what to listen to. And just hearing some producers that I admire, that I look up to, tell me what they're listening to, it really helps my music out because I can get inspired by some of the things that they're listening to. I definitely go and check it out as soon as I get off of the interviews. I get on iTunes and listen to whatever these producers are recommending. So yeah, you guys just check out what Miss Madley has to say, what Sick With It has to say, Street Runner, and Jack Brown.
You know what? I don't believe in albums. I haven't had my whole life. I haven't really. I can't say there was an album that was like, oh my god, this is so okay. College Dropout, okay, but and a few or Little Brothers, but
right.
Other than that, like there's always like 5-6 good songs. But what I would say, what I do a lot is I listen to SoundCloud. I listen to other producers' SoundClouds. Not necessarily people that I even know, but just random people, instrumentals. Like a lot of stuff is like okay, but there are some really, really good unknown people, unknown producers or lesser known producers and artists. And there's a lot of really, really good music on SoundCloud.
Yep.
So what I do, I just go there and I put that on every time I go work out. I do that. I put that on some sort of like playlist. I pick a playlist from there and I just go with it,
Dope.
You never hear on Spotify or anywhere. It's just some, and there's really so much good music out there. So just the people that never really gotten a chance to shine in the industry because of all the red tape or whatnot. But there's a lot of good stuff out there.
What album is a must listen for up and coming producers?
Yeah.
I really don't know a specific album. I would just say, just anything outside of what you normally listen to.
Okay.
I try to listen to different genres, because that's where you get inspired by.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to be inspired by rap, then you gonna come out trying. If you like Kendrick Lamar, then your music gonna sound like his,
right?
Or 2 Chainz, or any artist. So that's why I like to either go back in time and listen to, because music goes back far, like to the 20s and 30s and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of music we can really study versus trying to study somebody in our time right now that's hot.
Well, every producer should know what Illmatic sounds like. Every producer should know what Reasonable Doubt sounds like. Every producer should know what the infamous Mobb Deep second album, you know, with Shook One's Part 2 sounds like. Everybody should know what Biggie Ready to Die sounds like. Life After Death, Tupac, Machiavelli. You know, like these are albums, like these are historical albums. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Jay-Z's Blueprint. Like that's
Right.
like Jay-Z's Blueprint album. You know.
Okay.
I mean, there's 100 of them.
Yeah, there is. Well, that's dope, man. I mean, that all the young beat grinders out there, do your homework.
Dr. Dre's Chronic.
There you go.
Chronic and Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style for
sure.
the West. It's like just that you gotta have those vibes too. Like
dope,
100%.
Any Miami artists?
I mean, for a producer to thrive and grow. I mean, they could. Rick Ross has always put out gems, so I mean, they could go peruse Rick Ross's catalog. Like, I think they need to start from the golden era and work up.
I hear that.
It's like I feel like they'll come up with more of their own sound if they listen to stuff from 20, 30 years ago as opposed to seeing stuff today.
All right, there you have it. 3 very different perspectives on what some producers listen to. Miss Madley came with the approach of she doesn't listen to albums because of some of the restrictions that were set up in her country that she grew up in. So she's listening to SoundCloud. She's listening to producers that didn't get a shot to give her motivation. And then we got Jack Brown. And Jack Brown said listen to anything outside of the genre of music that you make to draw inspiration from. And then we got Street Runner. And Street Runner said that you gotta listen to some of the pillars that formed some of the pillars of hip hop. You know, your Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubts, your Nas Illmatics, and stuff like that, just to get an understanding of what hip hop is like, and then build on those to create your own music. So next, we're gonna go into this crazy question that we ask every producer. If you guys listen to Beats Grinding Life, if you've heard it once or a few times, then you already know what the question that I'm about to bring up. And the question is, if you lost everything, if you woke up, you lost everything, and you found yourself on a whole new planet with only $1,000 of that currency and the knowledge that you've gained over the last few years or your entire career, what would you do to get your career up and popping within the next week? And so it's crazy, and it's just always fun to hear what these producers have to say. So I'm gonna roll it. We're gonna hear from Bad Remy, we're gonna hear from Digital Crates, Cobain, Ivory, Technology, and Siquidit.
You gotta get right back on it, man. You gotta get right back on the grind. Well, first off, you said context. Like, I may not have your first phone number, but I found a way. Like, I also have friends. Like, I also have my own production group. Okay. So like, I also have access to a computer. So I'll find a way to get access to a computer. I'll download FL Studio again. Nice. I'll try my best to get some of my instruments back. I'll get right back on it, man. And as soon as I get right back on it, I'm networking my butt off once more, finding new contacts, joining new beat battles. Because I'm gonna use that $1,000 to join beat battles. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, I'll spend $1,000 to buy, a new keyboard, or a new MIDI keyboard rather, new headphones, so stuff like that. Pretty much, I'm gonna use that $1,000 to invest in myself. As investing in yourself as a producer is very important. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of producers, they don't see it as that, but it really is truthfully important to invest in yourself. Because if you don't invest in yourself, you can't make it to like a superstar level.
That is a really difficult question. I've been struggling with that idea because That question really bogged me. I still really don't have a major answer for that, which is crazy. Because I've been to the point, realistically, where I didn't have any equipment and I didn't have anything. So I've already been to that point where I've had just software and where my machine didn't work. So I was just trying to. I used to have a Native Instruments machine. I don't have it now, but it didn't work, and I just really was at that point where I was like, man, I only got my broken computer. Siren, if I could turn my phone around at this current point of time and show you this computer, I literally have Scotch tape and duct tape hanging over my iMac.
Wow.
Holding it together. There was a point in time where my iMac literally fell apart.
Wow.
And I didn't have a hard drive. I didn't have, my externals didn't work. And I was like, man, I don't have anything. YouTube helped me a lot, surprisingly.
Dope.
So
in what way? In what way? Sampling or what?
Sampling and learning. Because, there's a million and one different programs and a million and one different, DAWs, a million and one different pieces of software you can use. Like, right now, and there's plenty of contests, man. Go enter a contest. If you have Gmail and you have 6 beats that you used to have and you don't have the capability of using them anymore, go enter an iStandard event. Go enter, a DITC beats per minute event. Go, enlist in B Camp. Go invest that $1,000 that you have into something that's going to benefit your craft like that. Because, you could lose everything, but realistically with the internet these days, who's really, besides, if you're using Dropbox, because if you're an idiot, you use Dropbox, but you got hacked. But really, if you have the internet, you're not really losing much.
Okay.
So, I mean, if that's where I'll stand with that, because I'll just take the $1,000 that I have, the knowledge I have, invest it right back into my craft. I don't care if I have to, find a street merchant or somebody from Guitar Center that'll give me, a piece of software on the low for you could buy software for under $1,000. I think it could be like $500. So
right.
Take that $1,000, start over.
Contacts everything, which is pretty much impossible. That's very hypothetical.
Yeah, it is a hypothetical. It's let's say you're on a new planet identical to Earth, and all you have is $1,000 of that currency and your knowledge.
The first thing I would do and buy, first thing I would do is just find out all the local music scenes. I would go out, communicate with people on the planet and find out all the local music scenes, listen to what people are doing, and buy with $1,000 you can't get much, but I would just get like a pretty decent laptop, and then maybe find some cracked versions of programs that I had before.
Okay, nice.
I do try to prevent all those things from happening. Producers, we fear 2 things the most: fire and theft.
Right.
So
yeah.
I always back up my entire studio. I have every time I leave my house, I have all my music on a hard drive. Everything nice. I own is on hard drives backed up. My door's pass coded. Not that it really matters. But yeah, I'm not afraid of losing my gear. I do not want to lose the music that I've created.
Yeah.
Because I can get all the programs again. I can buy all that stuff again.
Right.
But I'll say one thing. My stepdad said one thing to me when I was around that same time when I was 20 and just making beats and didn't know what I was doing. And he wanted me to make it a hobby. He said, if I gave you $10,000, what would you buy? And I got excited because I thought he was going to give me 10 grand. So I started listening all this gear and whatever. And then the second question was, would that make you a better producer? And I kind of was, wow, I was like, no, it wouldn't. So basically, what I was supposed to pull from that is, everyone can have the same gear, which is what you find now. Everyone has everything. Everyone has Contact. Everyone has Logic. Everyone has all these various programs, so everyone sounds the same.
Right.
And no one has like a unique take on things. They don't have enough experience. Everything is properly and fully mixed. I don't like my stuff fully mixed. I want it a little dirty.
Right.
So no one has identity, and that's basically money has purchased these these beats. You know what I mean? In a sense, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
no, it does.
Saw an interview with Timbaland. He's like, there are no more producers. There's only programmers. And I was like, he's absolutely just people playing gear. I mean, there's buttons. You don't need to know what key your song is. You just press a button, it changes key for you. It identifies the key.
Right.
You could buy. There's plugins that give you chords. The chords that are past the what is it? I forgot what it's called, but.
I hate to go back to the Blueprint, but I'm also a fan of Dame Dash. And I think over the years it's a shame that him and Jay had a split that way, because Dame said something on a podcast recently about one of his sons never needing to ask for money because he could always just sell t-shirts. And Dame, he was kind of like cracking a joke,
Right.
But literally, if I was down to my last $10, I would go buy 2 $5 nicely printed digital crates t-shirts and sell them for $20 each at a show that I was hosting.
Nice.
And then I'd have $40. And then I'd go, times that by 5. I'd have 8 t-shirts that I could sell for $20 a piece. And then you just keep going, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're in an era now where there's all this content in the cloud.
Right.
I mean, and it's just above our heads. There's nothing that we can actually pull. There's no CD case. There's no liner notes. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you go to the concert tickets $100 because the music is cheap and the t-shirts are $50. So if I could sell t-shirts and with the CD or a memory stick or a download link to get a free album with the t-shirt, if I could at least find ways of getting music out to consumers with something that they own, like a t-shirt, I would always go down to my last dollar to sell something with my brand name on it, because then I'm always alive. Even if it's just 100 stickers for $12 on stickers.com, my name is in the streets.
Right. That's dope, man. That's
dope. So I would always go down to my last dollar to promote myself in a way that will generate income.
Okay.
Whether it's advertising or selling an actual piece of merchandise. Nice. And that's advice that I give to every artist and producer I work with. I don't care if you're a girl and you're selling baby, pajamas to your female fans, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Little underwear with your name on. I don't care if it's high ticket items like headphones. The Beats headphones wave is amazing because it raised the value. But you should always be developing and investing into your brand. That will last longer than any one song or beat you could make or produce.
Nice. Thanks for that answer, man.
I'd probably hop online, go to Amazon, buy a cheap functional laptop.
Nice.
Man, I feel like this can go in so many different directions.
It can. It sure can.
But I think I just have to start back at the basics, man. Like, if I have my knowledge, that's a great actual question, because if I knew what I knew then, what I know now, I feel like I'd be so much further. So I would definitely take what I have knowledge-wise, and I would just start more back at the basics, get my basic. I probably wouldn't even get a controller because that would be more money, but I'd get a decent laptop. And then I'd start probably creating my sound kits, start selling those online.
Nice. All right, so I think right there we heard some very different answers, but I think there is a common theme, there's a common thread within a lot of those, and it's Bad Remy, Technology, Cobain Ivory. They all alluded to not using the money to necessarily buy gear, like that's a secondary thing. Their first thing is to go network, go enter beat battles, find the music scene of that area, And you know, I got something out of that answer. I just thought that was super important. You know, that, you know, your net worth is your net worth. And so, you know, even though they lost everything, they realized that as well, that, you know, you have to go and network and meet people, you know, and it's not even about the gear. It's less about the gear and more about who you know. So, all right. Well, we just about reached the end here, guys. What we have coming up next is advice. You know, the greatest piece of advice that these producers have received and the greatest piece of advice that they are giving to us. And this right here always has tons and tons of gems. So this is one of my favorite parts. And I just included almost everyone, almost all 20 beat, grind, and live guests on here, because they all had just some valuable information. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go.
The best piece of advice I ever got was from a mentor of mine, and he would always tell me, keep the main thing the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing, and that would be the same advice I give to any producers. I think we get caught up in a lot of hoopla of the industry and how to get big and how to make it, and I think if you keep your focus, keep the main thing the main thing, I think that helps keep everything in perspective, and you don't have to deal with all the extra bull crap that comes with trying to make it in the industry, man.
Well, you know, this is a business, you know, and so a lot of creative minds that come into this music business, you know, they forget about that. And so I think that the most important thing about being in this business is you have to understand that it is a business. And so, you know, brushing up on, you know, how the business operates, the way the business moves, that's number one. Know, you know, be sharp on your business in the music business. And then surround yourself with, you know, individuals, you know, who are better than you. You know, that makes it, you know, because you're learning. There's no, you know, it doesn't what's the good saying? It doesn't who cares about being a big fish in a small, you know, in a little pond? You know, you never grow, you never evolve. And so, you know, things are always changing in this music business. So always, for me, the thing that helped me was, you know, I learned more. You know, I hate reading, but, you know, picking up books more, watching YouTube videos on how things, you know, work in the business, going to, you know, making sure that I'm finding myself at more, whether it's iStandard events or, you know, network events, you know, to learn more, panel discussions about whether that's audio, you know, whether that's the music biz, publishing, you know, made it my business to educate myself more on the business. And then as a producer, the only way to get better is, like I said before, is to surround yourself, you know, by better producers. You know, I big up a lot of the producers that I'm around, my ECC family, Miss Madley, you know, Nook, you know, Duck Dodger, Point One, and the list goes on, Ratchet Gods, you know, alumni. These, for me, these producers are extremely talented, and it only helped me, you know, to step my game up as a producer. You know, we're all whack at one point in time. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
how do we get better? You know, and that's by surrounding yourself with people who are better. That's the way you get better. In anything.
Well, the greatest advice I ever received, I actually didn't really receive it directly. It was actually from a Facebook post from S1. Okay. It was, you know, it takes 10 no's to get one yes. That is the most important lesson I have learned.
Wow.
Because you are going to meet a lot of people in this business that hate your music.
Right.
Regardless of how you feel about yourself. And that right there really, you know, that helped molded how I approached the business. Nice. Approached music. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow. Because
I know these opportunities are going to come. Many of them are not going to, you know, they're not going to come to fruition.
Right.
But there will be a few that will.
Right.
And that's going to change one might even change your life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, S1 was, I mean, he's well known for, what was it, being in 4 beat battles and not winning?
Yeah.
High standard beat,
High standard beat battles, yeah.
Right.
Treat everybody with respect, because there's people that like you might see in a studio or in a hallway somewhere, and you might at the time be feeling yourself and feeling that, and like you might have a placement out or placement coming, and you might brush someone off that next year or in 2 years might be the shit. So treat everybody with respect, get everyone's number, get everyone's email, follow up with people. I think that's been one of my biggest assets, is that when I meet people, like I'm naturally a personable person, so I try to have lasting moments or conversations that people won't just forget about me when like I hit them up.
I would just say work hard, stay humble. I mean, that's all it really is. Like, there's so many people doing this: production, rapping, singing, photography, whatever. So it's like you know better than anyone else. The only thing that's going to matter is sticking to it, working hard, and keeping it moving.
Now, I've received some really good advice in my career. I've received some really, really good advice in my career. Well, besides networking, I think I pretty much stressed that point. Besides networking, just always try to hang around. Oh yeah, definitely try to hang around other producers. Okay. Definitely, like if you're a producer, it's best to hang around other producers, and try to like, not even necessarily other producers, but also other people who do music. You know what I'm saying? You gotta also like, they don't necessarily have to be a producer. They could be like a pianist or a guitar player, or or like a songwriter. It's just like, if you do that, you'll always your brain, your creativity will always be like fresh. So because they'll always be fresh, it's just like it'll motivate you and it'll inspire you. That's the key word. It'll inspire you to come up with new ideas and stuff like that.
That's dope.
Like, and when you come up with new ideas, ain't no telling. For example, Mike Will made it. Yeah, he makes trap music, but he listens to more than just trap beats. And he has ear drummers. I'm pretty sure there's people in there that they inspire him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like 808 Mafia, you have Southside. There's a lot of people in 808 Mafia, but he has other people inspiring him. Then you got Boy Wonder. He has I forget the name of his production group, but he has a lot of people. He has Frank Dukes.
Yeah, Frank Dukes around him.
Yeah, he has Finals. He has, I forgot. He has T Minus.
Okay.
Okay, I will give that advice, but before I start that, I'm going to tell you a piece of advice that is not such a good piece of advice until you improve it. I'll tell you what I mean in a minute.
Okay.
I keep like within the last year or a couple years, so I keep hearing this advice of people going, "Yo, when you do these beats, it's like lottery tickets." Right? They say that, you gotta print up these lottery tickets, man. I don't know if you realize, but like last time I played Lotto, I didn't win.
Right.
And you can print up 1 million lottery tickets and might never win just because the odds are not in your favor. Now, keep in mind, I am printing up a couple lottery tickets here and there. But in the meantime, I'm printing up money. I'm printing up $5 bills, $20 bills, $50 bills, $100 bills. Why am I going to print up lottery tickets if I can print up dollar bills, if I can print up currency?
Right.
And you gotta know how to monetize your stuff. And another metaphor you can do is like, if you want to take the baseball metaphor, if you want to be a producer like Barry Bonds, where you're swinging and missing all the time, but then you're hitting that home run, right? And you're either striking out or you're hitting a home run. Or you can be like Derek Jeter and have a high batting average and consistently hit the ball. It might not be a home run every time. You probably will get, a few. Right. But you're still hitting the ball.
Right. You're bringing in those runs too, RBIs.
Yeah. So exactly. So I'm not fucking with lottery tickets, all or nothing.
Nice.
So like the lottery ticket advice is okay. And you can print up those lottery tickets, but at the same time, you also got to print up money at the same time.
Dope.
And the way to do that, and the way to do that is to maximize your chances of getting a placement. Because given the politics, given the relationships out here, especially for new producers, it might be a while before your first big placement with an artist. So in the meantime, go out, get these TV placements. Maybe you find someone that has, let's say they're doing a blog, podcast like you, and they need a theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll give you a little money for that. So many lanes now. You can put out your own album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where there's so many services now where you can just put out your own instrumental album. You get money from the streams on Spotify, Tidal, and all that. So you have, residual income coming in. Like, to me, if you're making your own shit and putting it out yourself, you're not printing up a lottery ticket. You're printing up money.
Nice.
Whether that money is $1, $5, whatever, it's better than printing up a lottery ticket that might be worthless. But then again, if you want to keep taking chances and just printing up lottery tickets, I don't know, man. I wouldn't recommend that.
Best advice I ever received is, just be consistent in everything you're doing. Just be consistently great. Consistently striving to be great. You know what I'm saying? And when you take that, if you go into school, be great at that. You know what I'm saying? So when you come to the studio, you just bringing that greatness right along with you. You don't want to slack at school and then because even though you slack at school, you come home and try to get in the studio. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna bring some of that with you. So you just got to create the habit of striving to be great, and that's like the best advice that I was given by someone that was older than me at the time when I was trying to get it together. And the advice that I would give to everyone else is the same as what I just said. The advice I gave, and as well as just be dedicated to what you're doing and just work every day. And that's one thing I learned from 2 Chainz was, when I first got with him, it was looking bleak. Like he wasn't a big star. He couldn't he couldn't even really afford to pay me every day. And he wasn't paying me every day. And when I did get paid, it was like $20. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to really take care of my bills by doing sessions during the day and then go and work with him at night. Right. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I made $20, that's just taking care of my gas. But what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make is we would work every day. You know what I'm saying? Sunday to Sunday. And that hard work and dedication is what really taught me, you know what I'm saying? If you want to accomplish something, whether you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever, if you put that work in, you know what I'm saying, eventually it's going to happen for you. I seen it work for T-Pain. I seen it work for 2 Chainz. I seen it work for Phil Mob. It's just that hard, relentless work ethic.
Yeah, I'm feeling
you
that.
Can't beat it.
Oh, man. The greatest advice I ever received was stay a lifelong learner.
Nice. I'm feeling that. Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what was the other half of that question?
What advice?
What advice would I get producers?
Unless it's the same advice that you just said you received.
I mean, I think that's what I would say. I would say always check your ego and always remain a lifelong learner, because you can't have both.
Very true.
You can't have an ego and still learn shit.
Right. Very true.
Because your ego will make you miss the shit you're supposed to learn.
Both of those are the same answer.
Okay.
Do not give up. Don't give up. If you are sitting here and you're making all these random beats and you're like, man, this is not, no, man. And you get in your car and you listen to your local hip hop station and they are playing nothing but the same beat sounding 9-10 times in a row, because that's the rotation they have, and you don't make that kind of beat, like I'm in that position.
Right, so am I.
But the moves that you make behind the scenes where no one's listening and you're just quiet and you're silent and you do what you need to do, keep your head up, keep moving forward, do not give up. If you can find a lovely lady in your life that will tell you the same thing, do that. If you have producer friends that are in the same boat, do that. because all of that will be able to push you further.
Nice.
And by keeping a positive mindset towards your music, where you're like, yeah, man, you know, forget that trap nonsense. I know it's a podcast. I don't know. I swear that it's, you know, forget that, you know, whatever.
Right.
And you know, I want to stay in the era that I stayed in, and you'll make it.
Dope.
You know, and you know, one of my good artist friends, Fresh Daily, actually said to me today. He said, if you're working on music and you still have it in you that you are talented, you will make it. Slow and steady wins the race. So just keep your head up. Eventually your music will land in the hands of somebody that will hear it and will eventually send you a random text message at 2 p.m. saying send me beats for such and such. And
Nice.
you know, shout out to Buckwild for that. But
Dope.
you know, it's all you need is that one person to believe in you.
Yep.
And you'll go. So please just do not give up, beat grinders. Do not. Keep your head up. If you're thinking your beats are whack, work on it. You'll get there. It's possible.
I would say probably, I think both for artists and producers, knowing that the music is only like 25% of being successful in this industry. You know, as important that is as it is, of course you got to make sure that your music is on point and that you're always pushing yourself to create the new sound and all that. But as far as the music business goes, there's so much more that goes into it, from networking, and it's really all about positioning. You know, you gotta position yourself to win, or else you're just going to be stuck in the same place just making beats every day, and that's not going to get you anywhere. So you know, I think that personally took me a long time to learn, because I'm just a creative soul. Like, if I could just sit in the studio all day and crank out beats and I didn't have to do anything else, I'd be totally happy.
Right.
But you know, being a part of the music industry, you gotta do so much more. So I think that's the advice I would give.
I'm gonna say this, cause like, yeah, it's cool. I was lucky that like it was actually like during a time where Miami had a little run. Like we had a little I don't know, I guess a little hot streak. Cause like, you know, between Fat Joe, Lean Back, the producer Scott Storch, who produced Lean Back, located in Miami.
Right.
The fact that Timbaland was in Miami, the fact that the Neptunes was in Miami, of course, Cool and Dre, Jim Johnson, which was Big D and Jim Johnson.
All right, guys, that was greatest piece of advice. I hope that you guys got a lot out of it. There was tons of advice there, enough to get you through the week. So I hope you guys can take something from that. And I hope that you guys can take something from this show as a whole. I know that it's a little different. We're used to having one guest on here, but yeah, we're lucky to have many guests on this episode. But, you know, I just figured that with 100 episodes, you know, it'd be great to just go and recap the episodes, you know, in batches of 20. So, like I said, this is episode 1 through 20. Next episode, we're going to have 21 through 40. So you guys stay tuned and check that one out next week. I just appreciate you guys for listening to the podcast. You know, as usual, you know, you guys go out, you guys spread the word. And the best way to spread the word is by just subscribing to the podcast. All you got to do is press that button on iTunes, or you can follow on SoundCloud or any other platform. Just go ahead and press that button. And then also on Instagram, just do the same. Just follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, on any social platform as well. But you guys know how it goes. You know, until next time, until next episode, you guys keep living life, you guys keep grinding, and you guys keep making beats. Peace.
Here at Beats Grinding Life, we want to thank you for listening to another episode. We want to know, what were your biggest takeaways from this interview? Just go to beatsgrindandlife.com and leave a comment on this episode's show notes page. Also, while you are there, go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just click the little button that says subscribe. If you could, please leave a rating and review. Rating and reviews are the best way to show your appreciation because it helps more people find out about the podcast. So until next week's episode, keep grinding.